topic for y'all as soon as my sis joined the stream. And matter of fact, we got some shit to talk about for y'all ladies too. So please wait there. Hope everybody's day is going good. Finally starting to feel like spring out here. Bear with me a few minutes too. I'm waiting for my sis Jasmine from the comfort zone to join the stream. Happy fucking Thursday. I wish she would hurry up. And stop hitting me up saying y'all want to do topics and then take forever when I pull up. Because I got shit to do. My channel is a busy channel. For those of y'all watching this on YouTube, salute to all my subscribers. Shout out to everybody else passing through. Link to my channel is in my bio, so go check out some of my other blogs and videos. We talk about a lot of real shit on my channel, the social forecast. Let me see if I can get her in here. Yo, Jazz, hurry up. I see you in the stream. What you laughing at, nigga? Hurry up, yo. This nigga over here laughing. Got me looking crazy on camera while I'm trying to get ready for work. What's wrong with you? Let me see. Yo, nigga, I'm
I
sitting here
was
talking to
laughing
you.
because I sent the request.
Oh, my bad, my
Started
bad.
talking.
My bad. All right, yo. I already did my intro while I was waiting for you, so I'm gonna let you lead into this thing.
As good as Jazz from the comfort zone.
Facts.
And
yo, the link to my channel is in my bio, and once y'all get to my channel, y'all see a link to the Comfort Zone YouTube channel, so go check that out also.
The background, don't mind the background.
Yo, I look crazy right now, so it's all good. This ain't even the camera I usually would use, so we ain't gonna worry about it. Just ignore the butterflies in the background. Shut up, nigga. All right.
So basically, I got two topics. The first thing I want to talk about is at what point.
Hey, yo, what's up? What's up, sis? My sister Donnie should just jumped in the live.
What's good? What's good? At what point did women start?
Y'all used to work together too, didn't y'all?
Topic.
All right, go ahead. Yo, go ahead.
At what point did women start embracing the thing and want out of someone else?
I got some theories too. Go ahead. What specifically we talking about?
What's good, yo? So specifically, at what point did women start to embrace the things in a relationship or in any interaction with another person? They started to embrace these things, and these are things that they didn't want. These are the reasons why they're damaged. Like, let me give you an example. So I ain't come to a conclusion, but lately I've come across a lot of women that don't want a relationship, want to just have sex, be fuck buddies, whatever the situation is. Excuse my language, but it is what it is. And they don't want that title, but I feel as though that dynamic of a relationship is what you did not want from a person, and this is the reason why you're damaged. Like, excuse the cat that's in the back. Like, for instance, most people wasn't okay with being in a relationship with somebody or being in a situation with somebody and they're being cheated on, or they're not the only person that person is dealing with. But now it's a lot more women embracing that, being okay with being with somebody sexually and they having someone else. They're okay with that. They're okay with it being just sex and nothing else. knowing that the person that they're having sex with is having sex with other people. At what point did women start embracing that? Why is that okay? To me, I don't feel like that's okay. I feel like human beings are made to be in a relationship. They're made to coexist with someone else. Do you understand what I'm saying though when I say that?
I understand where you're going, but I'm about to come at you first. I'm about to get at your neck real quick. So you started off by saying you believe that the majority of women who do that are damaged from prior relationships. Now, I'm gonna ask you, because I know it's not what you mean. Are you talking about traditional relationships and the women who were with men, or are you talking about relationships in general, whether it be same sex, whether it be heterosexual?
I'm talking about relationships in general.
Okay.
Not just
So, okay. All right. So I'm going to come at you halfway of what I was going to come at you. So are we blaming, and you know I always have to do this, are we blaming the decisions that a person makes in their present or future relationships? Are we blaming the person that they chose to be in a relationship with and stay in a relationship with for however much time they stayed in that relationship as an adult making that decision? Are we blaming the outcome of that and their situation on that past person? Or are we holding that person accountable who chose to be in that relationship?
Well,
does it sound like we blaming?
What I'm doing, because see, how I feel is you have to hold yourself accountable. You can't keep running with you were damaged a year, 2 years ago, and you're not you have to find yourself. So I don't want to be in a relationship. Those things are not, it's just, it doesn't make sense, because reality is you should find somebody that you could build yourself with on top of building a relationship with them. You shouldn't run from relationships because of what you went through in the past, because at some point you made the decision to allow that relationship to damage you. And don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming you for what the person did, but I'm blaming you for basically not allowing somebody else to show you something different.
Okay. So,
you get what
all
I'm
right.
saying? Because
I feel you.
You go through stuff in your past relationship, and I get it. Sometimes it takes a while it took me a while. I have not been in a relationship in close to 4 years. It'll be 4 years in August. And yes, I was very damaged from my past relationship, but I'm never running away from a relationship.
So what I'm asking is that the person, so let's take a woman who says, yo, I just really want to just have sex. I don't want no relationship ties and none of that.
Why though?
Is that, but I'm saying, is the person who made her feel that way, or the string of relationships that she's been in where those people made her feel like that, whether because they cheated, wasn't loyal, didn't really show her what a relationship should look like, is it the fault of those people? Or is it just a product of a person being in enough relationships where they say, listen, this ain't working out, I'm going to try it a different way? That's what I mean by who are we blaming? Is it the person who did it, or is it the person who allowed it to happen to them?
I feel like people that are living their lives this way now is blaming the person that did it to them.
I got you. So they're jaded and they're a little bit, I got you. All right, so...
But my personal opinion is you have to blame yourself. Not so much blame yourself, but just because you had past relationships that were damaged doesn't mean that sometimes you have to go into a new relationship differently. It's not that you can't be in a relationship. It's just that you have to go into a relationship differently. You don't have if you keep going into a situation expecting a different result, it's not going to work. You have to go into a situation differently, and it doesn't necessarily mean you can't be in a relationship. Everybody is not the same. Everybody's not made for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, why are we running from relationships? You don't run from the relationship, because you will pass up a good person. You will.
Yeah. So here's my theory on that. So part of the reason why I feel like people in general run from relationships is because, contrary to what you said, I don't believe people are meant to be in exclusive relationships. I don't believe that. I believe that is a construct of society present day. Like, I believe in an attempt for us to be so civilized and so advanced as a society, Although there's enough shit that happens in this fucked up world that proves that we are not that advanced. I think in an effort to make it seem like that, we try to form these social rules that say we got to be in exclusive relationships and it's all about monogamy. I don't think we're built that way. I think naturally we are people who, yeah, we do need connection, but I don't think it necessarily has to come from an exclusive situation. But where I think people get into trouble is they don't properly communicate that. It's nothing wrong with people who want to deal with the person physically or deal with the person now and then and not really have like a long-standing, long-term intimate relationship. But it's the problem where the people who want that don't effectively communicate it. And then even when they do, they don't act in ways that says, this is just what this is. Exactly. It's like what you were saying before. Like, you can't say we just having sex and we just meet up when we meet up, but you checking on me to see how my day going. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sending me all the bullshit.
Babe.
Yeah, like
to
you
me,
can't do that.
And I feel like that's where I feel like people have the wrong understanding of what a fuck buddy is.
Hold on real quick. It say, this person, Unruly Joker, says, facts, but some people attract what their last relationship was missing. And I'm going to touch on that too, because that's a true story.
So I feel like people have the wrong understanding. People think that the title of a relationship is what makes it complicated. It's not the title of a relationship. It's not having a full understanding of the dynamic of your relationship. That's what makes it complicated. Hey,
yo, shout out to Mango in the background, like a goddamn G. What's up, Mango?
Look, y'all see he got his own couch, right? It's pink, but don't judge it. Don't judge it. He got a couch because he can't sleep on mine. But basically, I feel like people believe that the title of a relationship, the title saying, are you my girlfriend? Are you my boyfriend? They think that complicates things. It's not. I think what complicates things is not knowing the actual dynamic of your relationship, not having a full understanding of the dynamic of your relationship. Because honestly, my personal opinion is, if you really vibing with somebody, I look at it like this. Back in the day, now we talk about our grandparents or great grandparents. I guarantee you there was never a situation where it was like, you want to be my girlfriend? No. I believe that they probably dated. They feeling each other. Somebody got pregnant, had a baby, and it was we together. We don't have to establish the fact that you're my girlfriend or you're my boyfriend. It's just that that's how things moved in a timeline. Nowadays, it's like you have to. People feel like you have to. You have to know, like, I have to know, are you my girlfriend? I have to know, are you my boyfriend? Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's always a gray area. My problem is, I don't want that gray area. I don't want to have to, I want to vibe with somebody to the point where I don't have to discuss with you whether you my girlfriend or whatever the situation is. You know what I'm saying?
So you just said you don't believe that our grandparents and their generation had to establish that fact?
I don't believe they had to establish the title. I believe that the
I gotta check you on that though.
Huh?
I gotta check you on that a little bit, because we talking about a generation that coined the phrase "going steady," where it was this big.
Going steady and actually talking about whether you're my girlfriend or my boyfriend.
That's what it is.
No, going steady is actually just dating.
But what I'm saying is, nah. So okay, you watch all these old movies, right? And you see how it was like this big to do, like where you literally had to ask the girl. We also talking about a day and age when you had to ask the father before you asked the woman to marry you. Like, it was this big thing. Like,
but I think, okay, so I see what you're saying. Going steady, was dating to them back in the day
was the serious part of it. Yeah.
Dating to us is not being in a relationship.
You're right.
That's why it makes it totally different. You get what I'm saying? Because if we say we go and study, that's just, we're dating. We don't have a title. We're just dating.
But look, right, to Unruly Joker's point, right, where he said some people attract what their last relationship was. I believe that's 100% true, because I think people confine themselves into having a certain type, right? And then however that relationship goes, whether it goes good or bad, Once a person feels like they have a type, they're always going to be attracted to that type. So I think a lot of the people who get into those situations where they become jaded by relationships because of what their past relationships were, it's them continuing to deal with those same people and not being willing to break that cycle. And then what sucks for people like you and me is, with the type of people that we are, when a person finds somebody like us, is different. You can't approach people like us with that. I just want to be this, I just want to be that, but I don't want no strings attached. That's hard for people like us to navigate. You see what I'm saying? Like, and you could call it us being Libras, you could call it, whatever you want to call it. There's certain people that's not built for that. But I think us being the accommodating people that we are, we'll entertain that situation. Maybe subconsciously we think, oh, we could change their mind, or once they see how we love them the way that people like us do, they'll feel differently. Maybe it's partly on us too. But I feel like people need to get rid of types. Like, it shouldn't be about a type. If I got a good vibe with you, you a good person, I like your company, that should be it.
Right.
That really should be all it is.
I don't know. The whole reason of me bringing this topic up though is because
But wait, before you go into the next thing, and I don't think that's new. I think women have been on that type of shit just like men have. I just think now we in a time when it's not unrespectable for a woman to say, fuck that, I just want a fling, or I just want, like, women, I don't believe women are these docile, innocent creatures where it was just men doing that type of reckless shit and now women are fed up. I think women have been like that all along because they're better at that game than we are.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I just think we in a
women
time where they're allowed to live that way.
Women have been
openly.
playing games for just as long as men have. It's just that
Yeah.
women
Unruly Joker said, nowadays people are using old school titles and statuses as a cliche to what they may or may not want. That's a fact too.
That is.
I think it's talking real shit.
But see, that's why I feel like the titles should never be included in to me, the titles is not a big deal. To me, just having a full understanding of the dynamic of the relationship. People don't understand. People probably don't even understand what it means to have a full understanding of the dynamic of your relationship.
That's a fact.
That's just like, if you tell me you want a fuck buddy, you have to understand what the dynamic of that is. You have to understand what my understanding is, and we have to compare what each other understandings of that is. Because to you, a fuck buddy may be everything about a relationship, but not have a title. To me, a fuck buddy is,
once you have those components of a relationship, it's no longer. I feel what you're saying. Exactly. I feel what you're saying. You're right. You're right.
You're not gonna hit me up every morning and say good morning, babe. You're not gonna hit me up and ask me.
That's relationship shit. Yeah.
That's relationship shit. You're not gonna get relationship shit out of a fuck buddy.
It's just like when people. It's just like when the complaint women have when men be like, "Oh, I don't want to get married right now, but we can move in together. We can look for a place." Yeah, it's like you creating that environment.
So you want everything that it is to be in a marriage, but you don't want it married?
But is that karma though? Because women created that title dynamic. Women are the ones who came at men for I don't know how many hundreds of years on some.
Like,
what we doing? What are we? I need to know. So did y'all create that shit?
And now y'all, and that's probably true. But I feel like things need to just flow. Stop running from or stop running towards. You get what I'm saying? Let's just do what it is that we're supposed to do. Let's do whatever the vibe is. Now, if I feel like, it could be a situation where I may meet somebody.
I'm about to kill these women. Go ahead.
It could be a situation where I may meet somebody, and to let everybody know that's on this live, I am a lesbian, so I'm going to talk about women. I can't talk about a man. So it could be a situation where I may meet a woman, and we may start the situation as, I just want to have sex and have fun. And we might spend more time together and realize that we actually vibed out. But there's no reason why, if 7 months down the line, and I'm speaking from experience, we did all the things that we was doing as far as whatever between us, whatever the situation was between us, because yes, we did establish that we were just going to have sex. It was just about sex. But within the 7 months, we hung out, we went on dates, we cuddled, we slept together, you know what I'm saying? I'm driving hours and hours to get to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing relationship shit, not saying that I want to be in a relationship, but let's now, okay, so now at this point, 7 months later, let's talk about the dynamic of our relationship. It's no way that you want to come to me and say, oh, it's still just about sex. No, it's not. No, it's not.
All right, so that's a double-edged sword too, and this isn't towards you, but you talk about it shouldn't be. We should just flow, right? Whatever the vibe and the flow is, we should just go with it. Here's the problem with that, and I'm speaking on heterosexual relationships because I'm a heterosexual man, right? Let a man try that flow shit, that vibe shit, because the second that vibe changes, or the second that flow switches up, and that man wants to go entertain the next person, we looked at crazy out here in these streets. We looked at like no good fuck niggas because we jump from women to women. So it's got to be an understanding. Is it a vibe, a flow, or is it a relationship? Because if it's a flow, y'all got to understand the flow might change. Y'all got to understand that vibe might switch up. Don't label us something that's fucked up because we decided the flow or the vibe changed. But I think not you, but the women who are on that shit, they don't account for that. Like you can't have good without the bad being mixed into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. Unruly Joker said, the real question is, why does it take me getting that connection, that person for you to vibe with or to have that connection? That should be something that both partners look forward to in a committed relationship. What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, we're not talking about. We're actually talking about the fact that it's a lot of women that's embracing not being in a relationship. So when the real question is why it takes me getting that personal for you to vibe with me. Well, in order to vibe with a person, you have to kind of get personal. You have to get personal because to me personally, I can only speak for myself.
I think that's a fact. The
only way that I can vibe with you is through a personal connection. I can't vibe with you if it's just us having sex. You get what I'm saying? Because see, I'm a type of person that I can turn that switch off. I can just have sex with you and not have any emotion. I can just interact with you in that way and not have to have the relationship status. I've done it. I know how, I'm okay with that. But if I do vibe with you, we have to understand that the dynamic of our relationship is changing and it's probably going towards a relationship.
So does it sound like I'm hearing you say, and I agree with you, this is what you're saying, but are you saying that even situations that start off as we just doing what we do, we just having fun, we not in a relationship, we just, you know what I'm saying, vibing, as you say. Are we saying that the majority of those relationships are naturally going to evolve into something more if the two people allow it to?
Right.
So you don't think there are situations where two people could just be that and that's it?
I do think it is possible for those situations to happen, and that's because there's one person in a relationship that may be more into it than the other, and that's why it may not turn into, at the end of it, a relationship. But if two people are vibing and you just let it happen, technically, if you really want to get technical, if we are vibing and having fun and we're doing all the things that a relationship is, we are in a relationship. You just didn't want to call it that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you don't have a title doesn't mean it's not a relationship. It is a relationship because eventually it's going to be, oh, I'm just having sex with you, or oh, I'm spending all my time with you, or we're talking on the phone all day, or it's babe, hey babe, good morning babe, or you hungry, I'm gonna bring you something to eat, I'm staying the night over your house 3 nights a week. That is a relationship. Whether a person want to believe it or not, it's a relationship. We're just choosing not to say you're my girlfriend. But my thing is, I don't play those. That's a game, a very dangerous game to play, because what happens is a person is gonna get their feelings hurt at the end of it all.
But see, too, the women that you would ask that question, because you started off by asking why women are doing that now. But most women you would ask that question would say, it's our fault as men. because we didn't treat
Or
them right,
let's
or
just
we
say
cheated,
that
we lied.
most women will say it's their past relationship.
Yeah, they'll put it off on that
Yeah.
person. So that's why I go back to my original shit. Like,
But that's because you, okay, whatever you went through, at some point you're running from that. You're running from it. And that's
yeah,
what I think is going on.
but that's like to me, that's when I hear that, to me, that's like the person who says, oh yeah, I cheated, I did this, but you know what? I was drunk, and if I wasn't drunk, it wouldn't have happened. People who make those types of switches always had that in them. Because you got people who go through shit like that, relationship after relationship, and deal with fucked up people, but they never make that switch. If that's not in you to do that, you not gonna do it. You see what I'm saying? Like if it's not in you to want to entertain a certain thing, you just won't entertain it. I
Right.
think the women who are starting to make that switch always had it in them to do it, just for whatever reason. Maybe they felt like that, we're in a time now where it's more acceptable than it used to
It's
be
more
for
acceptable
women
and
to
they
be
can
more
embrace
thotty or
it
be
now.
more out
Yeah.
there, more open. Yeah, but like that's hypocritical. Like y'all
But
came at
see,
us for years,
it's
and
my thing
now
is, okay, so now you're accepting it, you're embracing it. My personal opinion, and I don't mean to offend nobody, but at 40 years old, at 35 years old, even at 30 years old, we should not be embracing that. We should not be embracing that. We should be trying to build with somebody at those ages. And that's just my personal opinion. Once again, I feel like to embrace being a thought, or to embrace being a hoe, or to embrace just fucking somebody when you know clearly they're fucking somebody else, we should not be embracing that.
I think it matters though where you start off, because some people start early in that relationship thing and get burned out and don't want to do it no more. Some people live there, if you want to call it, their wild and party and being single days early, and then as they get older, they want to settle down.
But
That's
see,
the
this is
that's
my
the
problem.
trajectory most people
But
follow.
this is my problem because, okay, now it's different if you are a person that feels like you never want to be in a relationship. It's different. I
Yeah.
get it. But if you have in your heart that eventually you want to settle down with somebody, it's a billion people in this world. What makes you think that you got to stop with your last relationship? You get what I'm saying? Do you understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You
I
can't.
feel you.
Don't wait 10 years and then try to pick it back up again.
Because the pool is not really that big, and I get what you're saying. I understand that, but I think a lot of times too, we mistake it
Hey,
like
you
it's in the
wait till I
vacuum.
get on
Like
the damn thing for you to want to play. Sit your ass down.
salute the mango.
Salute to Mango. He
I
plays
don't think
for us.
it. I don't think the pool is really that deep though. In reality, I think you say, yeah, 7 billion people on this planet, slightly more women than men. But like I said, I go back to people think they have types, and people think they can only deal with or only have an attraction or affinity for certain types of people. So that eliminates those other 4 or 5 billion people. It's really only a small pool. Then you look at the fact that most people date within a certain radius of where they live. Even today, with the world being as small as it is, it's usually somebody you go to school with, work with, or somebody you meet or see around the way.
But
Yeah, there are
see,
situations that start
and
off
no, I get,
online.
okay. So
Yeah.
I get, not to cut you off, but I get
Uh-huh.
exactly what you're saying. The pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller with,
Yeah. It's a fact.
the type of people, or, the distance or whatever. But so now what you got to do is blame yourself for not finding somebody. Because if you are going to be that close-minded, when you deal with people, then you have to realize you're going to go through a struggle. You're making it a small, a small circle for yourself.
Yeah, I feel you, but I think there's a deeper psychology in that dynamic too, because most people, to their credit, I don't think it's that people want to be closed off. I think it's the same thing like when you meet like a person, right? And it happens to men too, but we see it more publicized with women. You know how like you'll see a woman with like a person, even though they're not being treated right, but they loyal, they hard with that person. Like you'd be like, yo, why is she dealing with this motherfucker? Like I think we want all the things that you say, right? All the things that we say we want those things. The problem is there's always a face attached to those wants. Like I don't want what I want from
With the
anybody.
person, with
I
that
want it
person.
from that person.
Exactly.
And that's I think where the fucked up
But
shit comes
that
from.
is absolutely wrong.
It's a
Because
human
I go
condition.
through
It's
that.
you're right.
I go through that all the time. Every time
Mm-hmm.
I get into a situation with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I am that corny person, and I've talked about this multiple times on my Facebook and my lives and stuff like that. I am that corny person. I am that person that will send you that good morning text every morning. I am that
Yeah.
person that will think about you before I think about myself. I'm that relationship person that people are looking for. What's good, Cuddy?
Mm-hmm. But then you know what? But then it makes that person, I think, certain types of people, obviously, don't get me wrong. Let's paint a scenario. So let's say I'm dealing with a chick and she just disrespectful, thotty as fuck out here with a different nigga every night, you know what I'm saying, while I'm working hard trying to build something, right?
Right.
Now let's say I meet you, we start vibing, you doing all of those things I want her to do. The fact that you're doing it is just gonna make me, and I'm just speaking generally for most people, gonna make me be like, yo, why the fuck can't this motherfucker I'm fucking with be like this?
Right.
So it still draws you back to that, you know, that sense of being jaded, like,
because, and that's all because this is what's real. That's all because the reason of, and this is most situations, the main reason why you are with the person that you're with is because you were attracted to them physically.
For some reason, yeah. But maybe that doesn't translate. Maybe for everybody, physical attraction doesn't translate into a long-lasting bond because physical attraction wears off. So, okay, so you just changed the whole dynamic. So then why do we look at shit the way we do? Like, most relationships start off with a physical attraction.
Right.
How come people can't just at some point outgrow that physical attraction? Because it does wear off. And if there's nothing deeper there to sustain that, you don't have much after that.
Because
so why we look at people crazy?
Some people be so mesmerized over a person's looks that they will deal with the things that they should not deal with.
But for the people who don't, right? And for the people who they just fall off that relationship, they stop doing the things that we say they used to do and they change and they're different now. Why do we look at that person as they're just bad in a relationship? Why couldn't it just be for them there was nothing deeper there as far as a connection? And once that physical mesmerized, whatever it was, went away, they just was ready to move on to the next person. Why is that person faulted as if they did something wrong? Maybe it's not that. Maybe they just didn't have that connection.
Maybe the communication was lacking, because if you communicate with a person and say, listen, things have fell off. I'm not into it the way I used to. The attraction is not there because of this, that, and the other. If people communicated that way, then I think situations would end a lot easier. But people lack in communication, and people lack in understanding.
Yeah.
People lack in communication and people lack in understanding. That's some of the main things in a relationship that people do lacking, because what happens is people shut down. When it's time to communicate about that understanding, people shut down. People don't want to have those type of conversations because you don't want to hear that, okay, this is not what I want. You don't want to hear that, all right, well, I can't do this no more. You don't want to hear these things. And then it's like, all right, so now what we're doing is we're creating a habit. So we're going to get up and go to sleep and get up and go to sleep and get up and go to sleep together, even though it's a toxic-ass relationship, because now it's a habit and we have not talked about anything.
I agree with you. People need to communicate more. But there are enough cases for me to mention this where the person does communicate, yo, I'm not feeling this, or I'm not feeling you the way I do, or we say communication. Communication is 85% nonverbal. Your actions is a form of communication to me. The problem is the people who accept that shit. Because look, if I'm doing something that I know and you know is not conducive to you being happy in that situation with me, and I'm doing those things, I know you're not happy with that. But at a certain point, does you accepting those actions, and by accepting, I mean continuing to stay and allow me to deal with you, at a certain point, I'm going to think naturally as just a humanistic trait that you're okay with it or you're condoning it because you're accepting it because you haven't left the situation. So yeah, the people who don't communicate, the people who do who don't let on to the person they're dealing with that the connection has changed, they're half to blame. But the person who enables that by continuing to entertain that situation, they're the other half to blame.
I
It's a
agree.
two-part blame. You feel me?
I agree. I agree. I
So
completely
now,
agree.
with that, then where do you go from there? Because now you said that's the situation, but now where your situation is long distance, doesn't that add more of a
I feel like
complication?
I feel like with the long distance part, I feel like it changes the dynamic of a relationship because
For the better or for the worse?
for the worse.
You think so?
And because a person will say, the distance is a good thing because you miss a person, you don't be around a person often, you communicate more, and that is true. That is true for a situationship. But for a relationship, it becomes to be a strain on it because for me, and let me just be completely clear. When I speak, I'm only speaking for me. It becomes a strain on it because I am somebody that if I get off of work today and I want to lay down with the person that I'm with, that I'm in a relationship with, I want to do it. I want to do it. There's no exceptions. I want to do it. Don't get me wrong. I can drive whatever distance it is to go do it, and at times I will. But how long does that last? That does not last a long time. After a while, it gets draining. It drains you. It's a strain on you.
Have you ever gone to the gym?
Yeah.
When you if you go to the gym, right, and let's say it's your first time or you used to go but you haven't been there in a while. When you try to do the same shit that you used to do in the gym, is it more of a strain or less of a strain from what you remember it or from what it seems like watching other people doing it?
It's more of a strain.
Do you know what the biggest component of people who work out or go to the gym and use physical or use mental energy to try to like do something done where they're overexerting themselves? Do you know the term muscle memory?
Yes.
I think the majority of people who feel like long distance relationships are prohibitively hard is because we don't know how to utilize the tools that are needed to make a situation work without that person being in the same room or being right down the street. It's muscle memory because we haven't had to do that. Social media has made the world so much smaller that you could literally in real time be talking to somebody halfway across the world and
Wait, hold on.
feel like
Because hold on. Before you move on, understood what I said. I said it becomes a strain on a relationship
but what
because
I'm
it's
saying
a
is it shouldn't.
situationship.
But I'm
I'm
saying
I'm
it
I'm
wouldn't be a
solely
strain
talking
though.
about. Solely talking. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that my situation is I'm dealing with somebody that I'm not in a relationship with,
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing long distance, and it's supposed to be a fuck buddy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. So when I say it's a strain on it, it's because if we're doing these things and then you come back to me and say we're just having sex, it puts a strain on the
I'm
relationship
look
itself. Not an actual relationship, but a
I'm
relationship
hearing what
itself.
you're saying, but
Yeah.
you got to remember the components. So your whole point was because this person's actions are what the components of a relationship, the texting you, saying good morning, how you doing, how was your day. The reason why I'm saying that's a component is because maybe if it wasn't long distance and if it was the same situation, I just want to vibe and just fucking just that's it. Maybe if y'all live 10 minutes apart, maybe you wouldn't get those good morning text messages or whatever. But when you create more distance, naturally something's got to fill that void. So maybe as just a way to keep that sexual connection or that sexual relationship going because of the distance, maybe that person feels like they got to send those types of messages to keep that connection. Maybe without that component of the distance, they wouldn't be doing that. So maybe it's not that they're trying to insinuate the components of a relationship. Maybe that's the way that they know how to This is long distance. How do I keep this person entertained enough for her to want to drive out here to meet up with me? You see what I'm saying? Like all the components, they feed off of the other components. You see what I'm saying? Like a chain reaction.
And I agree with you up until
But if you're just a fuck buddy, where's the emotional connection really supposed to be? That's
there's
what
not
Unruly
supposed
Joker
to
is
be an
saying.
emotional connection.
That's what she's saying. She's
That's
saying
what I'm
that
saying.
it's supposed to just be that, but she's saying the person is doing things
It's
to make it
creating
seem
an
like,
emotional,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, they
She's
not abiding
creating,
by the rules of we just fucking, that's it.
exactly. So now what you were saying as far as the component changes it, I agree with it up until the point where if it was a situation where, okay, we're keeping that communication there because of the distance, what's going to make her want to drive. If that was a situation that every time I drove out there, I was having sex with you. But that's not the situation. You get what I'm saying? Now it's like, all right, well, if every time I come out there, it was to have sex, then I would say, all right, well, I understand. She's just trying to, it's almost I'm trying to make it so it's not an out of sight, out of mind type of thing. I get.
All right, so we're not touching on the elephant in the room. Let's just say fuck all the bullshit. Yeah, this is my real theory. So I believe the people who engage in those long distance relationships like that, or situations where like you, it's certain days and times that you go out to meet them or they come out to see you. I believe people like that are either they already have a situation, they are already dealing with somebody, and they doing something on the side, or you know what I'm saying? They're already in some kind of a situation where they can't really devote that much to that person, because it don't make sense. If it's just physical and you coming to see me, then it should just be physical and then you on your way or I'm on my way. If there's all this other cuddling, laying together shit and text messages throughout the day, nah, it's something else going on that's preventing that relationship from being a relationship. And you see it all the time. We live by this shit. We from the hood. Like, you don't shit where you eat. Most people who cheat do it with somebody who's not right around the corner. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like
I agree with you. But this particular person, I do feel though, because don't get me wrong,
surprised.
we're on the phone all day. We're talking,
Nigga,
we're communicating all
you forget
day.
I was married for 11 years
Yeah.
with a woman who was on the phone all day for hours on end while I was at work entertaining other niggas.
Listen, I agree with you, because I do feel like the person is being entertained by someone else. I do feel like that. But I
whatever
also
that looks
feel
like, yeah.
That's not the reason why she does not want to be in a relationship. I feel like the reason why she does not want to be in a relationship really has to do with her past. I just feel like she's dealing with multiple people. It is. I don't think that it's preventing her from being in a relationship. I just think that she really does not want to be in a relationship. I just think that she just want to have fun because of what she's been through in her past.
But look at this. You said that you think that she's entertaining multiple people, right?
I do think she entertains.
Okay. Would you agree with this? And I apologize, I'm just getting my shit together for work. When you entertain multiple people, would you agree with the fact that one of those multiple people are usually the main person you're entertaining? You could be entertaining multiple people, right, but your focus is always going to be on one.
I am that person.
But why do you think that? If you live so far away and when the phone goes off.
Because I do live far away, but I am seeing this person every single week, and it's not that this is a set time for me seeing her. It's just because of my work schedule.
And look, and this is the part where you're right, because maybe it's about being jaded. Because again, remember, I'm somebody, I do what I got to do for my family. I work 2 jobs. I work days. I work nights. I do what I do. Now, I was married to a person who, because of my work schedule, had the freedom to do whatever she wanted to do.
Hold on. Not to cut you off, but Unruly Joker said, and this is the point. I'm glad you said this, because this is exactly my whole discussion right here. Then why put somebody through that same torment that he or she went through just to figure out what her next or his next step is? That is my same exact discussion. Right. That's exactly what I wanted to hit on. Why? Why are you doing it? Because you're running from a relationship, but you're putting people through the torment and the hurt of getting emotionally connected with you, but that's not what you want to do.
And
Just
there
so
could
you
be a
could.
lot of reasons why that's the case. Some people do it because, let's say, for the person who is cheating, they may say they're doing it because it was done to them and they're trying to get even. To the person who is genuinely single and not knowing if they want to be in a relationship or want to just not even put themselves in that situation, those people may say they just don't want to be hurt again. And they think by not putting a title on something that that's keeping them from expectations, even though that's not true. So
That's
it
not
depends
true,
on the
and that's a
person you
fact, though.
talk to. Yeah,
That's a
it
fact.
depends on, yeah,
And,
that's a fact.
and that's the thing. I believe that. I believe that's what's going on. I don't want to be in a relationship because I don't want to be hurt again. I've been hurt so many times. This is what women are telling me. I've been hurt
Not
so many times.
realizing
This
that they're
person did it.
perpetuating that by doing that. By you thinking you're
Exactly.
not
But
gonna get hurt, you're getting hurt. You just
exactly.
don't
So what's
realize it.
happening is you're in turn hurting someone else because now
Hmm.
this person is emotionally connected to you, and you have to basically stop in the tracks and say, "Oh, I don't want to be in a relationship because this is what I went through." But you're putting someone else through it.
But
Whether or
you're
not
saying you
y'all
don't want to go
decided to
through, yeah.
be in a relationship or not, the dynamic of the relationship or the situationship is what causes the hurt. It's not the title.
Now here's the part where understanding becomes tricky. We talk about communication all the time on our YouTube channels, and we talk about understanding being a main component of communication, right?
Yes.
So is it incumbent on the people that choose to deal with those damaged people?
Yes.
If we
And
choose to
I
deal
blame,
with them,
and
yeah.
that's why,
But not
yes,
so much from the point of blame. Is it on us to understand that if we choose to feel for those people and deal with them, that we got to
we
understand their
choose to get
position?
hurt. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
maybe not
No,
even
because
that.
no. It's that deep though. And this is why I say that because I've been in multiple situations in the past 4 years where it has started out as a conversation where I don't want to be in a relationship, but I just want to, have fun or whatever. I just don't want to be in a relationship. And I've gained some type of emotional connection with these people. And then I begin to say, okay, either I need to fall back or I need to figure out where this is going.
Hmm.
And that's only because I look at things a little differently, and I have had a very long time to be single. So now I want to tell somebody, no, I'm not looking to be in a relationship, but I think people misunderstand when I say that. When I say I'm not looking to be in a relationship,
You're
is
still
not
open
I'm
to it
running from a
happening.
relationship.
Yeah, you're still open to it
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly. I'm not against being in a relationship. I'm just not looking to be in a relationship. Because one, I don't know if people that's watching this know, but lesbian relationships moves really, really, really fast. It moves fast and it ends fast. Lesbian relationships do. So I'm choosing to get to know a person and vibe out with a person before I decide to be in a relationship with somebody. But what you will not do is string me along and then get to a point where you say, "Oh well, I just thought that this was just sex." You couldn't have thought that it was just sex if you was doing all relationship shit with me.
But you know what, too? Speaking from a heterosexual point of view, I think that's the lesser of the two evils. The fact that you say it burns out quick. Because think about all the heterosexual relationships. Because I always say this. I say this shit in my second book too, Relationship Etiquette. A relationship never ends when it ends. It ends, but then people continue to entertain each other until something happens to cause that to no longer be the case. So I would almost prefer a bad relationship to burn out rather than for me and that person to continue to deal with each other even though we're not happy, because most people are afraid to leave a relationship. I think more people are afraid to leave a bad relationship than people are afraid to get into a potentially good one, because even though there's fear in the unknown, there's also comfort in what's familiar, even if what's familiar is hurtful to you. So most heterosexual relationships last as long as they do because a motherfucker just don't want to leave. We create reasons for why we can't leave right now, or we don't want to leave right now, or we got other shit going on in our lives. It's just easier to keep doing what we're doing because ain't shit out there. Like, these are the things that we say to ourselves, that we trick ourselves into thinking, shit, my relationship might not be the best, but it ain't much better out there. So I would almost prefer, if my shit is bad, for it to burn out so I can keep it moving rather than spend years of my life. I will never get my 20s back dealing with somebody who was doing shit that they shouldn't have been doing that was not conducive to being in a marriage. And my 20s will never come back. You see what I'm saying? At 35, I wish I would have found the shit out that I found out at 21, 22, 23.
This
Then I could have
person
still.
said the people who are so-called damaged 9 times out of 10 and can tell, and it's your decision whether or not to go through with the relationship or not.
So they're saying the people who are damaged, yeah, I believe the people who are damaged know that they're damaged. And that's what I meant when I said understanding, like, it's whose fault is it for continuing to be in that relationship? Is it the damaged person who's putting that hurt off on you, or you for seeing that damage but continuing to entertain that person? It's a two-way street. I agree with that.
It's yeah, both people fault. But see, this is where I can't fault this particular person. I can't fault her because she knows that.
Go ahead. That's the Libra in you. Go ahead.
But look, because before we decided to move on with this, I did have an understanding that she knows that she is damaged. She knows that she needs to work on things within herself, and she did not. She made it very clear that she did not want to be in a relationship. But what I feel is I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. But I feel like, would you feel that same way if I gave you exactly what you were looking for? Because see, I decided to give you all the other extra shit because I didn't have to, because you got to remember, I'm the one driving out there. She's not driving here. She's not coming here. I'm going out there. There's no, you know what I'm saying? That part of the situation is one-sided. I'm going out there.
And see, that right there has been the downfall of women since the beginning of time. Is what you just said. And whether it's heterosexual or same sex, it's a person saying, okay, this person doesn't want this, but maybe I can show them something different to where they may want this later. With me, that wasn't my goal in the beginning, because it was really, I just wanted to have sex with her, and that's the honest truth. When I met her, I just wanted to have sex with her. There was no, don't get me wrong, my emotions is not what she may think it is. I don't have the type of emotion that she would think. I don't want to be in a relationship with her. I'm not asking to be in a relationship with her. But I think where we had a misunderstanding is she wants that. Oh, how can I say it? I don't want to say she wants the relationship things, but she want to feel. I can't really explain it, but she does the good morning text, and she does the I miss yous, and she does the I want to lay with you, I want to cuddle with you, and she wants that. I believe that's what she wants, because that's what she was lacking in her past relationships. But what she doesn't want is when it gets to a point where I have a question or I want to communicate about something. Like if I'm on video chat with you and your phone is going off constantly like that. Your phone going off. And I'll be like, damn, your phone is vibrating. Can you take it off, or so I can't hear it? Like, I don't want to hear that. She misunderstands that as I'm questioning her, or I'm upset because her phone is going off. No, I'm not that type of person. I'm not you can deal with whoever you want to deal with. But that's the problem with 9 out of 10 relationships, and we can close it out with this. So Unruly Joker said, even the people who say that they know what they need or are looking for have no clue on what they need as a foundation to start the relationship. And then he said, she wants the title but not the responsibility. This is the problem, right? People run from relationships. That shit sums it up, because they want the happy bubblegum shit that we see in the movies that goes with relationships without the work and the difficult situations that are a natural part of a relationship. You can't have the bubblegum fairy tale shit without having the difficult. You can't.
You can't have bad.
I don't know if it's just our generation because we're so fucked up. I don't know if that's what it is, or if it's just some other shit that we don't know. But that's it right there. As soon as a relationship becomes real and we realize it's work, that's when the trouble starts. That's why that shit is always good in the beginning. And then you have that point where it's like, yo, fuck this motherfucker. Because no, shit's real now. Like, we grew up in a generation of fucking Disney movies where all we fucking saw was Cinderella and Princess Jasmine and Sleeping Beauty and all these bitches getting married, having the big day, and then the credits roll. We don't see the kids, the bills, the dirty house, the meal cooking, the arguments. So we never had no fucking concept. And of course, our grandparents didn't want to show us that. So we grew up with this fairy tale version of, and then the majority of us who didn't have fathers in the homes didn't know what a real relationship looked like anyway. And then we turned into adults who now got to figure it out. We don't have a fucking clue. Right. So when it comes time to put in the work, of course we don't know what the fuck we doing. So then you have weak people out here that as soon as it turns into work, they think that means shit is going bad. No, it's time to fucking work and get it in. Like, if you quit your job or quit school every time something was hard or you didn't pass a test, you would be a broke, stupid motherfucker out here. You feel me? Like, and that's how we approach. That's why when we did our round table on YouTube Live that one time, that's why I said people need to learn how to approach their relationships like they do their job, because it is work. And what you get out of it is what you put in. And that's what we need to figure out. And that's my final thoughts on that shit.
Yeah. I completely agree. I feel like, you know, you can't have the bad without the good, or the negative without the positive, positive without